And welcome back. I'm Mike with the Turntable Teachers and Classes back in session, here for another guest speaker episode at AOA Studios. If you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, be sure to check us out at aoastudios.org to book your session or service today. And guys, I am here with a very special guest. They're all special, but this one feels a little extra special. He's an artist and a producer that I have really just enjoyed his music for a really long time. He's one of the first names I really feel like I knew of when I got into this space.
Okay.
And it's been a long time coming.
Yes.
It's been surprising I haven't had you on yet, but finally making his Turntable Teachers debut is none other than my guy C Sharp.
Yes. Bam, 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 bam. I'm here. I'm here. Thank you for having me, man.
Of course.
Really appreciate it.
Welcome. Finally.
Yes.
Finally, we made it happen.
Yes.
We were just talking off air about that. I think so. We had a plan to do this in what was it, you said 2024?
2024. We had talked about it. Yeah, it was like, oh, we'll revisit it. And I think something had happened. It was me, most likely.
Your fault.
Yeah. Most
No,
likely.
I think what had happened, if I actually now this coming back to me, I think it was something about an album, but then you had maybe it was the one that you just dropped. Don't Wait. I don't know if that was the right one.
Yes,
and then you
actually.
pushed it back, and you were like,
Yeah, we weren't ready.
so I think that's
We were
like
not,
coming back
yeah.
to me a little bit.
That
now.
makes sense. Yep.
So it's all C Sharp's fault. He should have like.
All my
No,
fault.
hey, you know what? Everything
Leave it all
happens.
on me.
Everything, no. Everything happens the time it's supposed to.
Yes,
That's the
you're
way
right.
I see things.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
we're here. We made it happen. So, first off, how you been? How are you?
I'm good, man.
It's good to see you.
Good. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I have a new outlook on life, of a second wind, if you will.
Okay.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm
That's
so
actually
good.
a great. I'm glad you said second win because that actually leads in perfectly into my first question I have for you.
Hey.
So, anyone that's a fan of C Sharp being introduced to us for the first time, we start these episodes off with a segment we like to call the objective, where we get to know a little bit about the artist or whoever we have on and their background.
Okay.
And so you've been making music for almost 2 decades now at this point. In terms of being active, like
Yeah.
your first real release was like 2010 and it's 2026. And I bet I'd be willing to bet you were making music way before 2010. So
For sure.
definitely 2 decades now.
Yeah.
And you just said second wind, and that leads perfectly into my first question I had for you. Like, that is quite a long longevity, right? Like you've really found a way to not only stay relevant, but just continue creating and just, putting music out there and still creating. So
Yeah.
how have you been able to like maintain that longevity, and especially in like an ever changing culture and landscape that is, of course, the music industry? Like we've seen, so many changes in just the last 5 years, let alone the last 2 decades. So
No, you're right.
And second part to that is like, what kind of keeps you going? Like what is it about creating and still being an artist that inspires you or wants to keep you, in this game?
So I think the first part of it is, regardless, I love this shit. Like if I wasn't releasing it, I'm still doing it. And that's funny that we were talking about the text messages and that album being pushed back, because it was like a so long period where I wasn't releasing music, but I'm still working behind the scenes, producing for other people, songwriting, engineering, etc. But it's love. Like if I don't love this, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna even want to push it out. It really is therapeutic too. It's passion, like you were saying. For me, it's love. The second part of it is a little bit of competitiveness, in the sense of like how you were saying, like how do you stay relevant and just still like dropping music, and it's actually like upholding and stands the test of time, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah.
That is a little bit of the competitive nature in me, where I'm like, I know I'm lacking, or I just want to push myself to be better. So that's why I just continue to just drop more music, and hopefully people can see the growth through the years. Like if you go back from 2010 to 2026, there's a big growth and a lot of experimenting and stuff like that. So just for me, it really just boils down to the love. Like I would not do this if I didn't love to do this, if I didn't like to do this, if I didn't feel like I was good at it,
Well, you're certainly good at it.
At
so
the end of the day,
I
you know
wouldn't
what I'm
worry
saying?
about
So, but that's a big part of it. Like, if I didn't love to do this, man, I would not be doing this right here, right now. And that's like, that's really it.
No, I mean,
for me.
it can be as simple as that. That's very well said. And, something else you had said that I think really is good for anybody else that's listening to this to hear, that maybe still is newer to this or has only been in this for a while, is like, you've been in this for 2 decades, but you're still talking about growth. You're still talking about wanting to improve and get better. And I think like I've always said that about anything I'm doing. Is if I'm not still in that growth mindset, and I'm not feeling like I'm challenged, or I'm feeling like I've hit the point where it's no longer like I'm not gaining any sort of like new perspective, or then I think it's time for me to stop doing that thing and move on.
For sure.
And I've had a few moments of that in my life where I'm like, I feel like I've gone. And sometimes a break is good too. Like, I think about it from basketball coaching, for example. I felt like I kind of hit a wall with it, and I took like 3 years off, and then I got back into it this winter.
Good for you.
And thank you. Yeah. And it's, and I feel like I have a new like
coach.
Yeah. I feel like I have like a new like fresh perspective on it, you know? And I feel like I'm learning now all over again. Or I have that like, that drive to want to learn.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest thing, right?
That drive, and in the music thing, I think it's fun for me because I'm competitive with myself in the sense of like I want to learn how to make what I'm hearing that I don't even know how to make. So real quick, if I hear something new that I'm like, oh, what's this new sound? I'm in the studio trying to figure that out and make it myself and make it my way and see if I can add it to the recipes that I already have and continue to build on that. So that I guess that's what keeps me there too. Like just constant inspiration that's out there too.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I think the success aside, because you've had a lot of success in this run that you've had in your creativity and your artistry. But I agree. I think like when you look back on it, it has to be the things you learned from it about yourself, and like you said earlier, just having it be such a thing that would be such a great creative outlet for you, and like a therapeutic that you mentioned. I think that was the word you said.
Absolutely.
That really, I think we all need something like that in our life. And if that can be something that, we can also create value for others in, like that's just, it's a bonus. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
100%, bro.
Why not?
So follow up to that. Like, you've been in this no, you're good. You've been in this for two decades nearly, right? So
aging me out crazy.
Sorry, I won't say it again. I promise. But if you could kind of go back, it's kind of a, age old question. Like if you could go back in time to your younger self, of everything you know now, like what's one thing, not saying, because I'm one of those people, like I don't like to live in regret. Like there's certain things like, maybe I made this decision and it didn't work out, but you know what, I wouldn't be here with this knowledge had I not made that mistake. So I'm almost like, I've almost like reworked my brain, like as I get older too, to like not necessarily have regrets. The only things I regret are maybe some of the things I didn't do. Versus so instead of necessarily not having regrets, just like what's one thing that you wish you could go back and tell like your younger self, and it could be anything, positive, negative, whatever.
Probably to not fuck with certain people.
I love it.
or like more of like sticking to my gut at the time when don't second guess myself because. There was a lot of second guessing in the first decade. I get it. Let's just say, and I think just in the last 5 years, there's been a lot of complete reversing, complete rewiring, like you're saying, of like, no, we're not. We're gonna go with our gut. We're gonna do what feels right. We're gonna keep the energy positive and proper, and not dabble in bullshit, I guess. Essentially. So, That's what that is, man.
Awesome. I love that. So I mentioned earlier that you, for anyone listening that's not familiar with C#, I mean, you kind of do it all: producer, artist, engineering, songwriting. Which angle of that was the most? Do you find the most foundational to sort of C# as a creative as a whole? Like, what part of it? Like, if you can think back to when you really were enamored with becoming, a musician, a creative, what angle do you think like is foundational to that? Was it the artistry and singing? Was it the songwriting? Was it the production, the engineering? Like, I'm super curious, like how it all sort of like came to be as as one, and like how is like which one sort of like started the process?
Okay, so I mean, I was singing very first, like fourth, fifth grade choir type thing. Then picked up piano. A couple years after that, I've been playing piano since nearly 2 decades. So,
Hey, I said I wouldn't say it.
so it started really with the piano. So I would say for me, man, I always had this, like when I started getting good at, I guess being able to play by ear, because I took lessons for a long time, was classically trained by a Berkeley graduate. Shout out to Ernie, rest in peace. But when I learned or realized that I can start playing the songs on the radio or the songs that I would hear just by ear, because I already had like theory down essentially, that's when I was like, oh, I need to start making my own stuff somehow, some way. And getting into producing was funny because it was around, I want to say 6th grade. I had a best friend at the time, rest in peace, 730, Emmanuel. And he was also making beats at his house. So we would like, he had like Magic Music Maker on like PlayStation, bro. I don't know if
I remember that. Holy shit.
I'm that generation, guys. So there we go. Let's
Wow,
let's
that is
go there.
such a throwback.
So he had that, right? And I was just like enamored with like, oh, you can do this. And I was already just playing, so I already knew music and theory. So like certain things when we were at his house, I would like help him figure out the melodies and certain things in that game. Then he had bought Reason. No, he had bought Fruity Loops. That's what it was. And I had bought Reason. And I was at home just killing myself trying to figure out how to freaking use this stupid ass program, bro. To this day, I will not use it. Whoever uses Reason to make beats, like, God bless you. You guys are another animal. But so it just came up in class that we were talking about, oh, he was having trouble working Fruity Loops or figuring that out. And he was having the same problem. Like, I just don't understand this. I was like, let's just swap programs. Psh, he was off to the races making crazy hip-hop, Prodigy, Mobb Deep type beats. Okay. And I was just to the races of just like trying to remake my favorite songs that I had at the that were there at the time. So it was like crazy. I went through a whole like period of remaking like Timbaland beats and shit. I'm pretty sure every producer have done that at some point. But yeah, so how it started off and what it all I guess became to be. I guess at that point when I realized that I was good at this and that was already starting to build, my sister actually sings can sing circles around me. That's what I always say. So I always felt like maybe I could be like it could be like Selena type of thing where, because her brother produced and wrote most of the records. Right. So, and he just fell back being a band member. So it was like, maybe I could do that and she can be the star, but she's not one for the spotlight or public speaking. So there's that. She is actually on my record, Secret Love, the throwback dance hall. So you have heard her already. But I've always felt like that would have been the picture for me, just playing the background, songwriter, producer, and I love that to this day the most. I think when I really got the bug for being like an artist was a bunch of back-to-back shows with Knowledge, rest in peace, that we did, and people were, it was probably like 600-700 people word for word singing the songs back to us, and that was just like, okay, we can do this. Like what we made in the room is actually translating on the stage, and it was dope. So there's the humble beginnings into it where it is. I guess for me, it's the producing, the songwriting, and being locked into that frequency of channeling whatever it is that's going to come from that.
Right. That's really well said, and I appreciate the thoroughness of that answer. And I find, and one of the things that I've always admired about you and really appreciated about you, something you talked about I want to highlight a bit further, is your ability to play a supplementary role to someone else's creativity. Yeah. And also knowing when you can be sort of the main character and the lead and take on the lead role. Like, yeah. I think there is such, I think, not everybody can go back and forth with that. Like some people have a challenge either way. Mm-hmm. And I think your ability to adapt, and I think like all of the skill set that you have, like it's all encompassing, like it gives you that ability. And clearly like mentally you sort of thought about that from that perspective too, of like, oh, I'd be happy to just be, Selena's
backup
producer.
keyboard.
Or as you were talking, I was even thinking about Billie Eilish and Phineas, and I know he's made a bit of a career for himself too, but in sort of
I actually just sent my sister a text about that the other day.
No way.
I was like, this could have been us. This could still be us.
This could still be us. This could be the Latin version of them.
Yes.
But no, I feel like in a lot of ways, like, his Phineas is like humility to, I'm just using him as an example, but like his humility to sort of let Billy be sort of in the spotlight, then I think allowed for him to, when it was, I don't want to say his turn, but like take the reins a bit and like take a bit of control of his own, his own artistry. So I feel like you've done that in a lot of ways too.
Thank you.
And I find that's crazy. Interesting. Well, you've done it back and forth. I feel like you've had your moments where I think now with this new project you just put out, you're kind of in that sort of spotlight main character, space, right? But then you have that ability to sort of like go. I keep wanting to say take a back seat. I don't mean it that way. I understand. To be a supportive role. Yeah. Maybe that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I know the roles.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. No, I really admire that.
There's a time and place, I guess. Yeah. Not every time I can be the artist. Not every time I can be the producer, engineer. Sometimes I just need to be the piano player.
But at least it'll get you.
Or the podcast guy.
Exactly. But being able to, you have more, because you have all those skill sets, though, it allows you to be in more rooms, obviously. You know what I mean? Versus just like if you're known for this one thing, you'll maybe get called in to do that one thing. But if you can do 4 things, then it just creates an ecosystem where you're able to have more opportunity, be in more rooms than you would think otherwise.
That's me being alone to my own devices, like really having like no other choice, essentially just figuring out a way or a path somehow. Yeah.
Phenomenal. I wanted to also talk a little bit about, you obviously grew up in Lawrence.
Yes. 978.
978. Shout out to 978. But you spent a lot of time in Florida growing up as well, correct?
Yes.
So I'm curious, like how each environment sort of impacted your artistry, creativity, because it's a good one. They're two different. It's just culturally very different. It's a good one in a lot of ways. So I'm just very curious about
that. You would think. So
okay, yeah.
Florida was Kissimmee area at the time. It was finishing high school, sophomore into senior year. Those 2 years were crazy in the sense of like I ended up coming to Florida, not knowing anybody, going to school, linking up with a couple people who essentially did the same stuff that I was doing up north, up here, making music in their bedrooms, having way better equipment, way better access to better studios. But also they were huge hip hop heads. Shout out Ryan, shout out AK, huge hip hop and Caribbean dance hall heads, specifically dancehall and soca. These 2 friends of mine, one of them was Jamaican, the other one's from Trinidad and Tobago, both heavy, just playing everything. So I was like immersed in like the real culture of dancehall when I was like furthest away from even being here or New York City as far as that side of it went, because we were getting all the music from like directly Jamaica or whatever the pools were at the time, I think. So that was crazy because we would always have conversations and I would ask them, I was making my own music. It was like R&B and pop, and I think I was uploading on MySpace at the time. And I was always like, yo, I want to do a dancehall song. I want to do dancehall. They were like, bro, you got it. You can do it all day, but you got to promise me one thing. You will not do patois. So as long as I kept that promise, and I've kept it to this day. But that was really what it was for me, that connection of us going from like just hip hop heads loving the Caribbean aspect of it. And I didn't even make my first dancehall song until I came back up here, actually. So it was just funny that it just kind of worked in a sense of like that's how it influenced. Like when I came up here, everyone was listening to reggae. It was almost like freestyle music at the time. Back in the day, where it had its own pocket, its own moment in time, and it's like dancehall is that then and still is kind of now, where it's not going anywhere really, whereas freestyle music kind of has faded. So I don't know, That was probably like too long-winded, and I don't
No.
even think I answered the question. But
no, you totally did. Well, because again, like it goes back to what I was saying earlier about sort of your adaptability, your flexibility. Like you've been on hip hop tracks with more, a boom bap style of, but then you really can do the dancehall thing as well. So I was very curious of like how I assumed that in the environment might have played. Being able to be in both environments as growing up early as you were, and like building those relationships, I'm sure that
and Latin influences, like salsa, just being Puerto Rican and family playing the music and stuff like that. Absolutely. Always out. So like those are always just a Caribbean culture too. So they loved Caribbean music too. So it was always, I was showing them a salsa song, they were showing me like a reggae song, and I'd always be like, "What is he saying?" And they would break it down for me, and that's why I was always like, "Don't do patois." But here we are.
Very cool. I love it. Well, so off of that too, talk a little bit about Lawrence, because I find it fascinating that, because I've had a lot of artists from Lawrence on the show, obviously Term, Isha, just to name a few, and then I feel
shout out both of them, by the way.
Both of them, fantastic artists, and there's a lot of great artists just creativity in Lawrence. Yep. And I similarly, I don't know what it is about these two cities in particular, but there's a lot of artists that come from the Brockton area too, and I'm just very fascinated by when a lot of these certain cities that aren't necessarily Boston, you know what I mean? Because I think when you think about the Massachusetts, when people think about Massachusetts music, I think automatically people think Boston just because it's the major city, but there's so much more than just Boston, and that's Boston. No knock on the obviously. Everybody, I love my Boston artists, but So, but I'm curious in your perspective, and I've asked this question a couple of times. I've asked this question to Isha and Term, but what do you think it is about Lawrence as a community or as a city that breeds this creativity at this level? Because it is a high level.
So, first, I would say it's something in the water. Secondly, I would say it's an immigrant city. Essentially, it's always been an immigrant city, a melting pot of different cultures. I believe it was like Portuguese back in the day, then to Italian, then to, I believe, the Puerto Ricans, and now we're in the Dominican culture time period right now. That's just Lawrence as a whole, and there's always been like a melting pot of different cultures and different people, different languages and businesses. So I think we all come from like a certain sense of certain place of adversity. So we all feel like we have to, even if we made it here with our families are still like reminding us where we came from. So we got to do better for the next generations going forward. So I think there is a certain like fire that we have, or like I said, something in the water that we just have this, and it's got to be the same with Brockton too, I imagine, that it's like a melting pot, a big immigrant population, I'd imagine, and it just fuels like that fire of creativity, in my opinion. There's so many outlets too in Lawrence. There have been a lot of programs throughout the years that have actually like facilitated like creative writing programs and stuff like that through like Bread Loaf, which is like through Phillips Academy Andover. There's been a bunch of things. Movement City is a big one. That's just a place that kids can go after classes, do after school things, and really I believe music, dancing, arts. There's a whole bunch of things in the city that kids can gravitate to and pour out whatever they need to into that space. So I think Lawrence 978 as a whole, we're just like tough, fierce. We're not going nowhere. Not fierce, not like that, but in the sense of like we're resilient, and we're gonna make a way through. We'll bounce back.
I appreciate that a lot. Yeah. And I just think that, I think hearing that perspective, right, is super important, because I think like most people that aren't really into the creative or the arts and things like that, your average person that you walk down the street lives in Massachusetts, and, name 5 cities that you'd not like to go to. And I feel like Lawrence, for whatever reason, pops up on that list a lot.
Unfortunately. Yep.
And I
top 5.
But I think it's due to the fact that, there is such there's naiveness to like all the great things that are happening in these cities. And I think that, we need to get the full perspective, the full story, right? It's like not, kind of nixing out those stereotypes. And
it is difficult too, because we have a lot of pride in the city, in the sense where we have so much talent and creativity that a lot of this talent won't leave, in the sense of like most major artists, when they come from a small town or a small cliquey area, they leave their region to pop off nationally, internationally, or whatever the case is. And we have a lot of pride for this area.
Representation's huge, I feel like.
And it's like a big love-hate relationship kind of thing that we even have with ourselves. So it's like, do we love this place enough to grow and make it bigger and put a bigger spotlight on it? Or do we just want to be like big fish in small ponds? So it could be considered both. Like, as much as we love it, it could be a detriment. But I think there's a lot of pride, me, myself included. Like, I've only left for Florida. I'm traveling a lot as far as like networking and doing things outside of the city for this project, because we're trying to take it to another level.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me stop.
No,
Let me stop before I get in trouble.
No, it's really well said.
978, come for me.
No, they won't. I think it's really well said. And you've represented the 978 very, very well. And I think a lot of people, I think there's a lot of you that even like someone like the level of Term, like he always goes
Love that
back.
dude.
He always goes
Love that
back.
dude.
And I mean, I can't, whatever you want to, like, regardless of how you feel about his music, like, is irrelevant. Like, he is just somebody that clearly cares.
Yep.
Even when I had Isha here, and when we had that long-winded conversation, like when she dropped the 978 sort of from her
tag,
name, and she was like, "Oh, don't get it twisted. It is not about." It goes,
see what I'm saying?
She goes, "I will rep the 978 till I die."
Exactly.
She's like, "It's not about that." It's
Yes.
She's similar answer that you had about just wanting to be a bit more
Universal,
global, right?
Yep.
And I appreciated that answer. So I do want to, you mentioned the project. I do want to transition to the main lesson now, where we talk about what you got going on now. And of course it is this new project, Don't Wait, with DJ Fingaz. Big shout out and rest in peace to him. And I'm really curious about the dynamic of this project. So how is the passing of Fingaz how did it make this album more significant or special to you? And I know specifically the title of it. I saw you post about this. Excuse me. No, you're good. Mm-hmm. I saw you post about this, that the title is very much, there's a lot of sentimentality about the title, Don't Wait.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. People can go see the post, obviously, but I want to hear it from you in terms of like maybe how when he said what he said to you, sort of how that not only resonated with the project, but how it represents more of a further sentimental value as a whole in any way.
Man, it was like I had said on that interview with Illuminati, it was more of just like the sentiment of the last conversation with him. It was a FaceTime. He was in the hospital at the time, so it was not looking great. We were all praying for him and making sure that we were, trying to give positive energy and keep the circle tight as far as like who knew what, because, but it was that. He really was just like, don't wait. He's like said it to me like 6 times, and I just like hung up that call and like cried so much, and like it didn't even that conversation didn't even hit me until we were putting together the project, and we were like, listen, we got to do this. I didn't. It just rung. We had another title for the album and everything, and it just was something that we weren't in love with when he was here at the time. Mm-hmm. So we had it up there, and we were just like, man, we can come up with something better. We already had the songs. We didn't have any sequence. We didn't have anything in mix yet. I think we had one song mixed out of everything. Mm-hmm. So it just kind of like, I guess, switched when he passed. And when we decided to start putting the album together, we didn't have a title, and that just kept ringing in my head, like that last conversation. And I was just like, let me just title it Don't Wait. I know there's not a single song on the album called Don't Wait, but just wait. There's a deluxe coming soon.
Oh, no.
But
you heard it here first.
But no, that to me was impactful, and I know what we were trying to do with the project was keep it about us and what we were working on in our relationship and how tight we had grown together, like him as a DJ producer, me as an artist, because he was pushing me hard on this project to just switch up different things, and you know what I'm saying, just push myself to be a better songwriter, vocalist at the same time. So don't wait, man. That can mean just don't wait. Don't wait for anything. Don't let the time pass. Don't hold it back. Don't hold these records in the vault. You're doing a disservice if you do that. And that's what I felt like. Like it has to be called Don't Wait. It's just going to ring true to me every single time that we talk about this project and talk about Fingaz, that, bro, I'm not waiting no more. That's it. We outside.
I appreciate that. Well, it's the truth, right? Because, like, you know, we all know that, you know, our time on this earth is limited. We don't know when our time is going to get called. And it's really, I agree with you. It goes back to my earlier sentiment of, like, not feeling like I have regrets, you know. It's like, I'm willing to make a mistake.
Big part of that. Yes.
Yeah, I'm willing to make a mistake.
Absolutely.
If it means, like, if in the moment I feel as though that it is the right move for me to make, and it's ends up not working out, I would rather. That's my mentality now. It's like I'd rather do that, make the mistake, learn from it, move on, change it, versus like be left wondering, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I left, you know, it's not anything related to what we're talking about, but just as an example of that, like, I was a teacher for, as everyone knows by now, I was a teacher for like almost a decade.
Yep.
And I left 1.5 years ago to almost 2 years ago, and to pursue what I'm doing now. And in a lot of ways, like, it was super scary. Like, I didn't know what it was going to look like. And, you know, has it completely worked out to the level that I thought it would? No, but
not yet.
Exactly. But that's the other piece of it too. It's like, you know, and then even on my hardest days, as I, like, you know, navigate this, right, and sort of figure things out, I think back to it and I'm like, all right, if I was still in the same spot I was in 2 years ago, every day I'd be like kicking myself, like, man, what would have been if I had just given that a shot? Like, at least I now have an answer versus just like left wondering, you know? And I think and to bring it back to what you're talking about, I feel like that's the perfect embodiment of what Fingaz was trying to tell you, to not wait, because
don't wait.
You just never know
exactly
when, you know, when
I can't even like think about it without getting a little emotional, because
I know,
it's like, it's like, dude, bro, you should be here, man, but we're gonna do this, man. We're gonna do this.
What did him just from as a person, like, I want you to talk a little bit about him as a person too, as much as you'd be willing to, like,
yeah, sure.
What about the relationship with him outside of even just the creativity? Like, how did he inspire you, and how did you maybe even inspire each other, and what did his relationship and him and his presence in your life, as you reflect a little bit, you know, what does it mean to you?
I mean, bro, he was just inspirational. Like, he was an overall great person to be around. Funny, super, super jokes. He was a great father, man. Very involved with his kids. And super competitive. So, like, I think we all kind of have that intertwined with some of the artists or the creatives that we have in the circle. Like, we're all very, like, funny, easygoing, like, just will pop shit anytime, and you better have thick skin, because we're gonna say something that might get under your skin. As long as you can be good and talk about it afterwards, let it out, we good. But Fingaz, man, just a good soul, man. On top of, like, the immensely talented DJ, producer, just radio, podcasting, all of the things he did musically, he was just a happy dude, and just all, like, caring, just generous with his time. And he was a super workaholic. That's what I always used to tell him, like, slow down a little bit, like, sleep, bro, because he would just go hard. He can be in the studio for 3 to 6 hours listening to that one 2-minute song for 6 hours. No, can't do it. Couldn't do it. I'm still to this. Sorry, man. Love you, but that ear fatigue is real for me. I need to take a break.
I hear you.
But super workaholic, man. Super loving, caring dad. Always, like, would pick up the phone, FaceTime his kids when he needs to, you know, like, take that time. And when he wasn't working, when he wasn't in the studio, he was with his family. And he was just inspirational in that aspect, because he was just balanced so many things, and it was just like, bro, how are you doing this? In a sense, so inspirational. Just not many people like that.
For sure.
Not many people like that.
Do you find this project to be difficult to listen back to knowing everything you know now and just with everything that's transpired, or is it the opposite? Is it a way to cope? Is it a way to be therapeutic, or does it change day to day?
At first, it was super difficult, like during the mixing process. But after that, like after it got released, it's kind of like let go and let God. Don't wait. We jumped, so we're gonna let Fingaz take the reins from here and see what happens. But no, I wasn't apprehensive or anything about it. Just trying to take it on with positivity and just it does change as far as like what my favorite songs are, but
in this moment now,
and
what's
I don't
what
know,
song...
man. I think it's you'll decide, but
like
these things just keep changing, and just depends on like, because I'll just throw it on and like throw it in shuffle, and it's almost like however you shuffle it, it rocks. So thank you, Fingaz, for that, because bro, but
Opening track was my favorite. I loved Curious.
Curious is awesome too,
I really
and I had to put him there. That was like we have another record where he has a bunch of vocals on it too. So look out for that on the Yamin that I couldn't say, but I said it. And I just wanted him to be involved with every one of these records, man. He was kind of like my feature on every song, essentially.
Yeah. Very great. Well, guys, don't wait. C# with Fingaz
In your phone right now.
It is out now everywhere. Make sure you guys add that to your library, wherever you get your music, wherever you stream. Make sure you definitely check it out. It's a great body of work, especially if you're into dance hall, reggaeton style music. Really, really good. So,
Do you know? C#, CSCHARP. Spell it right.
We're going to transition to the next segment of the show, which we like to call Pop Quiz.
Okay.
And if you are a fan of C#, just being introduced to us for the first time, Pop Quiz is a segment where we ask our guests rapid fire questions. Some of it have to do with music. Some have absolutely nothing to do with music whatsoever. It's just things about C# or the guests that we want to ask or that we found out. So off of this is kind of my last sort of, I guess, question around this topic. And I think since we're just coming off of talking about the album, it makes sense. And you've even name dropped 2 other people that I didn't realize you had lost. You've suffered quite a few losses in this creative journey that you've had. And, you know, in particular, I would say the ones that I was more privy to were obviously Fingaz and Knowledge. Yeah. And those sort of were in such a short period of time. So what have you learned most about yourself or music or life in general from the presence of these people during your life and now in their friendship to then having to sort of, I guess, just cope with, I mean, we've all coped with loss in some regard in our lives, right? As humans, It's just natural. We're all going to, suffer losses, but, creatively even, like, how has it sort of, all of these people, like, impacted you?
Well, I haven't really made any new music since, to be honest. Where I'm still working through that and trying to process how that's gonna go. So that's one on that. But geez, I guess that's a good question because I haven't even thought about that. That's it. That's the answer.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Pop quiz, pop answer.
That's all right. You've collaborated with some hip hop legends. For anyone who is listening to this and isn't familiar with your work, who would people be surprised to hear you've worked with?
Bun B is one of them.
That's one of my favorites.
Bun B is one of Paul Wall is another one. I have some. I think Lazy Bone is one of them actually too. And all of this is kind of like through like Term and Static Selector. Like I said, I love Term. He's constantly sending me beats and packs to get on, and I just throw a hook on it, and what lands, like, let go and let God at that point. But yeah, Bun B, Paul Wall, Lazy Bone is one of them, and I produced something that was on like Sheek Louch's Beast Mode 4 mixtape, so that was like pretty cool to me. As far as that, most people won't know because it's like boom bap, it's completely out of the sound. So if you hear it, it's my voice. If you're a fan, like the sound, but it's completely different feel. So I encourage everybody to check those out because those are good records. And, we did, I think the Paul Wall album did like 1 million streams on Spotify. I actually have a song with Kota the Friend as well, too.
I didn't realize that.
That we released last year. It's called When We Met. And that's with Kota the Friend and Term as well. So
super cool.
Check that out. That's And of course,
the one we met track. Oh, that's right.
And of course, I mean, how could I like forget Rex? Like, come on, man. We got that song Critics. I have a bunch of songs on his last couple projects, the wedding song. That's the record that I'm on actually with him. So go check all those out. There's so much music that really, like, if you listen to my dancehall stuff, you would completely rule out anything else. You would think that I'm just on that wave, but go do your little Googles, man. We out there.
I love it. You mentioned you're of Puerto Rican descent.
Yeah.
And Puerto Rico was just put on quite a spotlight by Bad Bunny's recent halftime
Benito.
show. Oh, love it, man. It was absolutely phenomenal. What aspects of Puerto Rican culture do you think the average, American citizen should know that maybe they're not super familiar with?
The music and the food. I mean, the music they should already know because it's been, come on, Ricky Martin. We don't know. Jennifer Lopez. Like, if we're going to go mainstream and talk about bigger names, those kind of names. And then Bad Bunny to right now, like, that should already be, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't find it.
Not mainstream.
Yeah, it was mainstream. Yeah, I guess, yep. So, but the food, man, I really think the food is top tier, top notch Latin, Caribbean food. You should check it out. And also it's culture. Like, it's family culture. Essentially, like, everybody's like tight knit Caribbean culture with their families, and some of them are religious, some of them are not. A lot of people like to have parties and just be, having a good time. Not too much stress. On top of the office.
Sounds like your average human being. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's strange. It's almost like we have more in common than we think we do. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone.
We just have better seasoning in the food.
Picking up what I'm putting up. Yeah, seriously. Which is important, people. Season your food. I'm really curious about this. I don't know if there was one song in particular.
Yeah.
But tell me about how you were able to go, and this is for my older heads that are listening to this. Some of you newer, younger people, you might not even know what this is. Tell me how you were able to go viral on MySpace before virality was really a thing.
It was like 6 million plays or something like
was
that.
Was it a song that you made?
It was within like 4 songs that I had on MySpace, and like one of them had like 3.5 million.
That's crazy.
Like one of them had like 2. One of them had like 800,000. It was like stupid for like what? But one of them was a cover song, because like I was saying, I was trying to make my own versions of stuff, messing around. It was a cover song to T-Pain's "I'm Sprung." So that one had like 1.8 or something like that on MySpace.
A cover that you did.
Yeah, like I reproduced it, re-sang it. It wasn't even mixed or nothing like that. We just threw that bitch on MySpace.
That's so
But
crazy.
I was a big fan. I still am a big fan of T-Pain to this day. So holla at me, bro, if you want to work. I'm ready. But yeah, man, that was, I guess, viral at the time, over a couple million on MySpace.
Interesting. Very cool. Going back to a little earlier question, segment we had talked about, or topic we had talked about, which artist in Lawrence most impress you, and who do you think deserves a little bit more attention locally and nationally that you don't think gets enough? Just to name a few.
Really impresses me?
Yeah.
There's like 2.
Okay. Let's hear them.
One of them you had on the podcast and you mentioned already before. Isha, super, not only just talented and like thinks outside the box, she knows how to get her creative vision across. And that is super needed right now. And like, she's like straightforward. She has a I don't give a fuckness about her that is so like charming, and I love her for that. I've only been in her presence a couple of times. We haven't worked together yet, but
keyword Isha.
But no, I think she's incredible, and she, like, you can tell like when she's going for it, and she can rap, she can sing, like, to me she's a total package.
Totally.
Like,
Incredible performer.
Incredible stage presence, like, just overall what a good representation of 978 and Lawrence as a whole, from like what we've come from to where we are now as far as this generation, for sure.
Yeah. I love the power of her conviction.
Yes,
everything she does.
Yeah, she steps in the room, she sucks the air out the room, and that's a good quality to have. She has that star quality, and
absolutely,
I love her for that. She's just, she's unapologetic herself. But the next artist I would say would be another person kind of like close to that, in that vein, is in the dancehall stuff, would be Malachi.
Okay.
He's super talented, bro. He's super talented in the studio. He produces, he engineers his stuff. He knows how he comes across as far as like confident, sounds very confident in these records. And I like the way he's moving as far as like picking and choosing how he wants to do his things. You can tell he's learning and quickly adapting. So I can't wait to see what's coming next for that guy.
Love it. Big shout out to Isha and Malachi.
Yes,
and
sir.
Everybody from the 978.
Absolutely.
For sure. All right, last question in pop quiz. We're going to take a little bit of a detour here to some video games. What's the highest rank you've ever had on Warzone? And which is the best Call of Duty game?
Did you do this? That's crazy. Oh my God, I don't even remember, bro. What's my highest? I haven't played since like COVID, bro. I had to put that shit down, bro.
Put it down. Well, I know you really like, you were big on the Call of Duty thing. For a while,
I
right?
had to put that shit down. It was destroying my life.
Sorry to bring up
trauma, PTSD. No, not let.
Don't relapse.
Destroy my sleep.
Destroyed. I hear you.
Bro, I couldn't even tell you, bro. It's been that long. I really like I didn't even buy a PS5 because I was like, if I buy a PS5,
I haven't bought one.
I'm not. Yeah. You're gonna have to gift me a PS5 for me to play a PS. I'm not. I couldn't even tell you. Sorry. I don't know. Probably some novice rank. It wasn't even great. I was just like playing a play. I wasn't trying to be like a beast, just killing time.
Which of the Call of, did you own them all? Like, was there like a specific game
like
you liked?
Warzone. Warzone was it really?
Okay.
That was it for a good time. Like, because I would play with I would play with my brother and my pops who were in Florida, so I'd be up here and we just calms it out.
Yeah.
Fucking 100%. Around.
Very cool. That was pop quiz with C Sharp. That was fun. I think he aced it.
We did it.
I think he aced it. Very good. Final segment of the show. We can't let you go quite yet.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite questions I love to ask. We get super creative with this one and just have some fun with it. We have what's called the dream song scenario.
Dream song.
So very simple. You get a song. It's a C Sharp song, and you can have any artist on that song, dead or alive. You get up to 3 guest features, and then up to 2 producers. You don't have to use all of them, but we got to cap it somewhere, you know. So, who would be on C Sharp's dream song?
And probably be the song that gets shelved, because that's what happens. Like, you think you do all this amazingly creative things, and it probably turns out to be ass. But no, wow. Dream producers for me I don't know why just the first 2 things that popped in my head, Kanye West,
Okay.
And Quincy Jones together.
Ooh.
I don't know how that would even work with those 2.
We're not worrying about that necessarily.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Kanye West, Quincy Jones, feature. Shit. It would be Billie Eilish with the 2 Chainz verse.
Whoa. That's
just random. That's just random.
That might be the most.
Because if I do like, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it might be the most eclectic group of artists that we've had. Like, it's so interesting when I ask this question. Like, how people approach
I would think
it.
me and Billy's voice would work good, and
I
then
think so.
2 Chainz. Like, come on, you can't fuck that up. Like, and Ye's on the beat with come on.
I think just out of pure intrigue. I think that song would do. I mean, like
Absolutely.
Billie Eilish, Kanye, and 2 Chainz and Quincy Jones on one song together. Like,
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy.
that would
be pretty.
I
wild.
was just going with the first, because
Okay.
any other way is weird for me, because I'm trying to smoke it too. I'm trying to hold my own, so I don't want to say like a Michael or a Prince. Like I'm just gonna get smoked.
Yeah,
like I want to at least be able to hold my own on something.
I hear that. That makes a ton of sense. No, I always find it interesting to see like the direction artists go with this question. Like some people, like artists, like I need to make like a very cohesive song and it has to have a certain thing. And some people like you are just like, I'm just gonna put a bunch of things together at the wall and see what sticks. So that's really interesting.
We gotta make something crazy with that.
Oh yeah. C Sharp featuring Billie Eilish and 2 Chainz, production by Kanye and Quincy Jones. You're gonna tell me that's not a number? You're gonna tell me that's getting shelved?
Keys by Phineas.
Keys by Fitty? Hell no. That ain't getting shelved. We love it. C Sharp, bro. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm so glad we got to do this.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Finally.
Yes.
Don't wait. Out now.
Out now.
C Sharp and Fingaz. We'll link everything in the description as well, so you don't have to go too far. So make sure you guys check those out in the description. And now would be the time, C Sharp. Any last words or closing remarks? Anybody else you want to shout out? Where people can find you? Now would be the time. You can look in that left side camera and let people know.
Y'all can find me everywhere, every social, CSCHARP, spell it correctly. I'll do it one more time, CSCHARP. There will be a link in the description, so don't worry.
His name is on the episode,
in case you can't,
too,
you know
so
what I mean, like spell it, because it still be a problem. I know I have to say it a couple times because people are drunk in the club when I'm performing mostly. But yeah, CSCHARP. The album is out now. It's called Don't Wait, produced by Fingaz. We got some great features on there. I have a song with Dynasty the King. We got a song with Most Wanted, and we have a song with Mosa on there. So please go check out those records. Reels coming very, very soon. We actually did chart number 5 on iTunes on the album. So, You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get some special things going. And I already mentioned a little bit too much, but yeah, just look out for the music. I'm going to be in your phone, in your face all the time. It'll be, you know, some new R&B, maybe some new EPs on the way as well. So look out for that.
Would love to hear more. That's awesome.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, guys. And
of course,
Mike, Coach. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing your thing,
you
bro.
Are very welcome.
Appreciate you. You're much appreciated and much needed in this space, I believe.
Thank you very much.
You asked really good questions, and there's a lot of podcasts out there, but this one's unique in the sense that I feel like you're getting to some real truth and some real like ground, some growth here. You're showing some positivity, a good light on what you're doing, and I love it.
That really means a lot. Coming from you, I mean, anybody that says that's me, I'd never take that lightly and for granted. But yeah, no, that is the goal. The goal is to be positive and be, you know, shed light on all of you guys and girls and what you're doing. It's really important. And yeah, I'm not really, you know, one of those clickbaity style.
No, for sure.
You know, it's just is what it, you know. I want to have a genuine conversation, and I want that to come across. I want you guys to be represented in the best way possible, and that's always the foot forward. And I'm glad that that's seen. So I appreciate that very much, and I've always appreciated your support from the start of our friendship relationship.
So put that tape.
I'm glad you asked. It is coming this year, I promise.
All
people.
right,
I had a couple delays in certain things, but it will be out in 2026. There is no question.
Been producing with him too. I'm everywhere.
It is coming out. It is coming out. I promise. But if you are a fan of C Sharp, just being introduced to us for the first time, you can follow us at Turntable Teachers on Instagram and TikTok. Hit up our website, turntableteachers.com, for all the latest. Make sure you subscribe as well. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the podcast if you're a YouTube watcher, I guess, listener, whatever. Or subscribe to us if you listen on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, if you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, make sure you check us out at aoastudios.org. Book your session or service today. And once again, thanks so much, C Sharp, for being here. This was an absolute pleasure.
Yes.
And Don't Wait is a record that I am going to definitely be spinning well into the summer and with the warmer weather. I'm excited for some warmer weather because I feel like it'll really hit even harder. You know, when I can maybe put my windows down a little bit.
For Cinco de Drinko.
Today was a little warmer.
Yeah.
As I was listening to the project on my way over here, I was like, you know what? I'm feeling like I'm ready for summer. I was feeling it.
Let's go. That's that top-down music.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As always, I'm Mike. That's C Sharp with the Turntable Teachers, and class is officially dismissed.